Here is a story of Fluzcoin technology again. It was a few months. It was a few months ago I met Stefan, and with a great enthusiasm, Stefan shared his vision for a worldwide retail cryptocurrency called Fluzcoin. A cryptocurrency of true mass adoption, borderless, which you can pay in your favorite grocery store. And Stefan has already had few merchants and investors ready to onboard. Well, I thought, sorry, Stefan, but we cannot have this. It just doesn't work. There were many startups who attempted just write that, and all of them failed. It was quite sad to tell, because there was a great enthusiasm, but I had to explain why not. Because all of us are cryptocurrency users, and we know how does it work. You send money, and your counterparty tells, well, it's still being processed. Not an experience you want to have at the cash desk, having 10 people behind you. Not an experience of unpredictable fees when you need to pay a few dollars for your bread and butter. So while I shared the enthusiasm of how great would it be, I could explain very well that cryptocurrency works on a blockchain, and the blockchains we know so far and use, they just cannot underpin this great vision. Sorry. But Stefan is not a guy who accepts sorry as an answer. So he told just, Antons, no, you made cars sell online, you did VR for e-commerce, just figure it out, or tell you give up. Stefan's vision was truly inspiring, and it felt great to know that there are retailers backing it up already. So despite the fact that I had no idea how it ever can be achieved, I thought, okay, we are ready to deliver. And we just sat together and just decided to figure out on a dream level what this cryptocurrency ought to be. While we understand that it seems impossible, but if we allow ourselves to dream, what are the key features to succeed? Well, it was quite easy to lead them. In contrast with what we have now as a cryptocurrency users, the experience of retail cryptocurrency of mass adoption should be instant transactions and free transactions. What is instancy? Some blockchains publish metrics on transactions per second that are, okay, we have 7 or we have 15 transactions per second, or we are very advanced, we have 60 or 80. But in fact, they process transactions in one batch, say every 10 minutes. Not something you can plan for a retail currency. You need granularity of blocks being added at least every second, not pooling them and processing once per 10 or 5 minutes. And transaction costs. You have 2 bitcoins, or well, 3, 4, but let's imagine just 2. You send one to your counterparty. The math tells you your remainder will be 1. You had 2, you sent 1, you should have 1, right? Not in the blockchain protocol world. You have to pay for blockchain protocol usage, you end up with 0.9987 something. Not something that a retail consumer wants. They do not want to end up with less and less and less and less money by using your product more and more often. Well, the direction was clear. We got a dream. It was quite powerful because it didn't exist yet, but we realized that if it would be possible, it would be a huge change maker for the whole world of cryptocurrencies. And it would be a very real chance for true mass adoption. Having a dream is very inspiring, it brings you a lot of energy. But it was countless number of times we, as a technology partner, felt hopeless, in complete despair. We tried one thing, it didn't work. We tried another, it didn't work again. We tried up to 20 blockchains. They lack documentation. Information is scarce. Sometimes we just had to get their repo, install it, test, and figure out, sorry, it looked promising. Their landing page promised exactly what we need. Nothing has been working. Either transactions took too long because they were too few, or you had to reward your network to process them. So forget about free transactions. Forget about clear math. You have 2 units of cryptocurrency, you send one is left. It was very challenging. I think I told some estimated times, but I think like we exceeded them like 5 or 10 times. But finally we felt we are onto something. We discovered a word that feels a hidden one. Because we always tell blockchain, 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 blockchain. But we omit one important word before the word blockchain. Because all the attention of the media and financial flows are geared towards blockchains of one type, public blockchains. Nobody is talking about the blockchains of another type, so we just omit this word public for simplicity. But what is public in a nutshell? Why it matters for the cryptocurrency that we envision? Well, public means that anybody, you, me, any number of bad actors can broadcast their version of truth to the blockchain network. Any stranger can intend to add a new block containing transactions that move your money. So just imagine if something similar would happen in banking. Anybody can interfere with a banking ledger. It's completely open. Well, that's just exactly how blockchains that we use and we know operate. They're inclusive, they're public, they're open. And precisely for this reason, to protect millions of consumers and millions of their funds, these blockchains need to use very expensive overheads known as proof of work to protect their users and their money. Well, we felt it's something to do with our ambition. And if public doesn't work for us, what is this so-called private or permission blockchains? Can this one be something that can help us in pursuing our dream of fast and costless cryptocurrency? Well, first of all, what is the difference between public and private? What is private? Well, essentially, it's open for everybody, but just for transacting. Users can still have their wallets, create their addresses, send money to each other. You can connect it to an exchange, but with the only exception that the power to add new transactions to the blockchain ledger file and approve them only resides with the parties explicitly authorized for doing so. Instead of proof of work, there is different lightweight, fast algorithm, proof of authority. You need to prove that you are authorized. Well, we started to dig deeper. We took a code base forked from Ethereum, enhanced by JP Morgan, called Quorum. And while we felt that we are onto something, we had to build confidence, so we had to really prove that we can build this network in a way that we envisioned. So what we were testing against? We were testing these two things we envisioned in the very beginning: speed and transaction fees. We have set up currently a scenario for a merchant network in 18 locations across the globe, and thousands of consumer wallet addresses with a pre-funded balances. Well, they do not need to buy our test cryptocurrency yet. We just pre-fund their wallets, and we have a script that send thousands of transactions without any interruption from these wallets towards the blockchain. We have Block Explorer, so we can parse what we have got conveniently, and we have a script to calculate the transactions per second. What are the results? Transaction per second wise, we have surpassed Ethereum 100 times, not even x10 or x20, but 100, and Bitcoin 200 times. And it's not a limit, it's just something where we wanted to stop and prepare for the next stress test wave. Transactions happen in bursts within seconds. So it's not 10 minutes batch, it's not 1 minute. Every second, there are hundreds and thousands of transactions being approved. What about the cost? In a private blockchain, you can set up gas price to 0. So the magic of free transaction become reality. Well, you might ask, who will bear the cost if there is no reward? Well, retailers, they want their independent coin. They do not want to delegate it to third party and then end up paying transaction fees and trusting their ledger. They want to maintain a copy of the ledger themselves and participate in processing of these transactions themselves. So every participating merchant would run a node processing transactions happening on the Fluzcoin network. So what we got, it was an unprecedented effort, but we got this dream working. What was a dream was built, stress tested, and it's working. In coming weeks, we'll publish proof of concept access on the code level, so development community can come, learn and challenge that. As well as we want to give to everybody who comes to Fluzcoin.io an ability to open their wallet with test currency, get their first test coins, just enjoy sending the coins to each other and getting them back for free in an instant. I believe that what Stefan has envisioned and what is working currently is an evolution for the cryptocurrency as a whole. Millions of people have been using it so far, but we really need this next step that would open the doors for much more people who can use it with the convenience, speed and transactions cost of the of their conventional purchasing habits without changing anything. Well, there is also something more. This blockchain upholds smart contracts. So popular tokens can also be created on this blockchain. So every participating retailer can create their own private money and use it, for example, as a reward, as a loyalty program. I believe that this can be even bigger than the retail coin in itself, but that's a topic for another story.